everyone, welcome to another edition of the Pro Wrestling Show review. We'll review WWE Survivor Series. Man, oh man, you won't believe the outcome, the results, everything, the shocks and turns, the twisted. Hey, we about to talk about it right now. The Survivor Series review show. I'm your host as always, Kendrick Dix. The Pro Wrestling Show presents Predict the Outcome for Survivor Series review show. We are so glad you're here. Survivor Series, held in the Staples Center in LA. I'm so excited. That's why. Use that hashtag right here, PSW, to join in that conversation here on Connect TV. Glad you're here. Let's get started with the Survivor Series review. Now, prior to Survivor Series, there was a kickoff show where the tag teams of Raw featuring the Revival, team captains Bobby Roode and Chad Gable, the Ascension, Rhino, Heath Slater, I'm assuming, versus the Raw, the SmackDown side of things, where the Usos were the team captain, led by the New Day, the Colognes, the Good Brothers. It was so much, so it was a lot. But at the end, it was a good, solid tag team match. But it turned down to the Revival versus the Usos, and the Usos pick up the win for Team SmackDown. So good fitting for all the tag team. Well, they had a showcase because it was a long stack card. So hey, it's heads up to them. Now we move on to the main card where Survivor Series kicked off with Carmella leading SmackDown, Team SmackDown, with Naomi as the team captain. I watched listened bits and pieces of the pre-show, but I didn't see that when Naomi was named team captain after Charlotte filled in for Becky Lynch, and Naomi filled in for Charlotte. Asuka, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville on the SmackDown side versus the Raw side. That was Sasha Banks, Bayley, Nia Jax, Tamina, Mickie James, all of them led by team captain Alexa Bliss, who was in a managerial role. And it was supposed to be in Team Raw originally Natalya and Ruby Riott, but they couldn't resolve their issues, so Alexa Bliss kicked both women out the team and replaced them with the women who she really didn't want nothing to do with, but she ain't had no choice. But it came to the end where it was a whole bunch of eliminations, but in the final ending, it was Nia Jax and Sasha Banks versus Asuka. Sasha Banks had gained ground and kept Asuka to her toes, but she couldn't, go against the Empress of Tomorrow. So Asuka choked, with the help of Nia Jax, choked out Sasha Banks, and Nia picked the bones and did the leg drop so many times, and then kept referring Nia as the face breaker, referring to where she broke Becky Lynch's face from her competing at Survivor Series due to a broken nose and a concussion. So Nia Jax had a lot of momentum on her side with that, and Nia Jax won the match and defeated Asuka and became the sole survivor for a Raw Women's team. Now it was interesting enough that previous show when we talked about it, I was saying that SmackDown needed to get that win, and it didn't turn out to be so. Raw led the way. The women's division from Raw led the way. Then another match had occurred where Seth Rollins went against the Intercontinental Champion, went against Shinsuke Nakamura, the United States Champion, in a champion versus champion match. Well, both men, we kind of thought either Dean Ambrose was going to intervene and cost Seth Rollins the win for Raw. Dean Ambrose was not in sight. Nakamura really didn't have no enemies. He kind of, battled it out, and at the end, Seth Rollins didn't get distracted, and he hit the curve stomp and got the 1, 2, 3 over Shinsuke Nakamura, And hey, Shinsuke Nakamura, lost again. It was 2-0. Raw 2, SmackDown 0. And I was thinking the same way. I was thinking Shinsuke was going to win and Ambrose was going to be discredited, but they wanted to make the centerpiece about Raw, and yes, that's what they tried to do. Also, what about this? The tag teams. The Raw Tag Team Champions, the Authors of Pain versus the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, The Bar. With Big Show and Drake Maverick at ringside for the respective teams, well, it made an incident funny where Drake Maverick peed on himself, and he didn't. He just said he wasn't afraid of Big Show, but he kind of was afraid, and the Authors of Pain took the advantage and dropped Sheamus through the ground and got the win. It was 3 for Raw and 0 for SmackDown. And I had to wonder, like, is SmackDown even got a chance in this match? Hopefully they might go, and I was thinking to myself, hopefully they're going to do it with the men's team. Well, I was thinking the men's Raw man team was having disillusion because none of them couldn't get along. Braun Strowman couldn't get along with Drew McIntyre, what he did to him. Dolph Ziggler, Lashley, he respected Finn Balor, but he couldn't get along with the acting GM Baron Corbin. And he still had that edict by Stephanie McMahon to say you can't lay a hand on Corbin until after Survivor Series. That was the edict. That's the deal they made. So couldn't do so. But on the other side, you had Shane McMahon, who was trying to pep talk the SmackDown crew, Ray, Jeff Hardy, Miz, Samoa Joe, and he did so for a minute, but the pep talk, you still had issues with Ray and Miz, who Miz didn't want Ray on the team, nor Jeff Hardy on the team. So there was issues underlying right there, and also the underlying tone issue. The elephant in the room was Shane McMahon winning that World Cup. That would kind of trigger it. So when the match finally happened, Braun, it's like everyone got beat, but then at the end, Shane McMahon put a valiant effort. Miz put a valiant effort. Drew McIntyre pinned Samoa Joe in the first match with the Claymore kick. That made Samoa Joe look weak in my view. But, to each his own. But, that made Samoa Joe look kind of weak. And I'm kind of like, wish they could have made Joe look a bit stronger. I would have accepted better with Jeff Hardy, but, Samoa Joe, he's supposed to be a badass. Not Drew McIntyre being a badass and stuff like that. But, to each his own. To each his own. Lashley dominated. Shane tried to put some wins, but at the end, it was Braun Strowman, the Monster Among Men, Drew McIntyre, the Scottish psychopath or Scottish something, and Bobby Lashley, calling himself now the Almighty Bobby Lashley, against Shane McMahon. And Shane McMahon was not in a no-win situation with those three monsters, those three big men. And at the end, Braun scooped Shane up and power slammed him and got the 1-2-3. Braun won 4-0 for Raw, where SmackDown didn't even win a one for the pre-show. And after the match, Baron Corbin attacked Braun Strowman from behind, and Braun was livid. So look forward to that match very soon on that. And look forward for Baron Corbin to. He was so with leading Raw to that, he's gonna be general manager tonight, or whenever this week, whenever that might be. Also, the Cruiserweight Championship was represented, not being on the pre-show, and a lot of people was surprised at that. I was even surprised, saying, "Oh, this is gonna be on the pre-show." Buddy Murphy defeated Mustafa Ali. Yikes! Yeah, Buddy Murphy defeated Mustafa Ali. Just regular cruiserweight match. Okay, and then finally, and we forgot to mention that on this week's Pro Wrestling Show, we're gonna do hot topics. Unexpected guest came to Survivor Series to almost ruin the show, and he got escorted. And we'll talk about that on Pro Wrestling Show later this week. But finally was the main event. Not the main event. It was two main events. One was Ronda Rousey, the Raw Women's Champion, versus Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair filling in for SmackDown Women's Champion Becky Lynch. Lynch was not able to compete because we told you earlier, Nia Jax, the face breaker she called herself, punched Becky Lynch in the face, broke her nose, and had a severe concussion. Well, Becky had to choose a person to fill in for her, and she chose no other than Charlotte Flair, the woman that she went against in the past couple months and attacked her. So Charlotte proved herself. She had to prove herself. Ronda proved herself, but it ended in a draw after Charlotte used a kendo stick because she realized she couldn't beat Ronda. And so they went to blows and stuff like that. Next thing you know, Charlotte grabs Ronda and put her neck between a chair and drives her foot into the chair, causing Ronda could have a severe larynx crushing. So it's a lot. I don't think this story is over with. You know, we don't know how far it's gonna go. This turned Charlotte heel. The fans booed Ronda. I don't know what the serious overtones is going to be, but hey, it is what it is. We're gonna have to see for ourselves on how far this is going to go. Either, you know, you got to think about it too. At Royal Rumble, will Charlotte win the Royal Rumble? It's been rumored, and she goes on WrestleMania and challenge Ronda for the Women's Championship. So that's be something that be kind of talked about in the coming weeks here on the Pro Wrestling Show. And then finally, Brock Lesnar, the Universal Champion, versus the newly crowned WWE Champion, Daniel Bryan. Daniel, in this first time match, we thought it was going to be Brock versus AJ 2. It didn't turn out to be. And Brock Lesnar in the beginning of the match, dominated Daniel Bryan. Suplex after suplex. Daniel Bryan would not be able to get up and do what he needed to do. But at the same time, Daniel Bryan showed a lot of moxie and effort. And he didn't give up, but the referee kept asking him, do you want to give up? Do you want to give up? Daniel Bryan said, no, I'm not giving up. Brock Lesnar ended from there, delivering the F5, and cover him 1, 2, 3, and got the win. And Daniel Bryan has this strange, deranged look on his face. Like, ever since Daniel Bryan became WWE Champion, he has been weirder. He has been obsessed, and we hope we get a light to that on what's going on. And then plus, breaking news now, right here, Shane McMahon announcing there's going to be some severe changes going on SmackDown because SmackDown didn't win their match. They were 6-1. Man, even Shane lost. And Shane needs to blame somebody. He needs to blame somebody on the men's team because you ain't got no chance against these monsters. And then Daniel Bryan, your newly crowned champion. SmackDown is the underdog show, and WWE made it feel like SmackDown is what it is, the B show, where Raw is the A show. So no stake about it, no question about it. SmackDown, you know what I'm saying? SmackDown gonna always be the B show, no matter what. They gonna be the ones recruiting. If you doing good, NXT same way. You recruiting good, you gonna land them on Raw eventually someday. So that's the premise of WWE. If you be good enough on SmackDown, if you're good enough on NXT, then down the road you gonna come to Raw and help propel Raw. That's what it is. It's a feeder system. I'm telling you right now. Alright, I want to leave the world entertainment right now to tell you that the California wildfires that has been affecting the folks in California, it's been devastating to see that. It breaks my heart to report this, but you have to do it because you have to and tell the public out there, inform the public of what's going on and educate the public. But here at Connect TV, we are going to make a donation to the American Red Cross. like I said, the American Red Cross does phenomenal job with disasters and reliefs, and make sure they go to the right people. So you out there in the public, if you can, if you have it in your heart, donate as you can. The American Red Cross right now, all they need is $10, and for that donation, for people that's out there trying to rebuild their lives again. No matter what the situation is, we all are a community. We all as a community as one. If you're not, if say for instance, unfortunately something happens, and you want somebody out there to reach out and help you, would you want them to do the same? You can do the same for them. So I'm asking, just do that. Just if you can, donate. If you can't, and then we understand. Here on Connect, we understand. But do as you can to help others. The American Red Cross serving others, and they're doing a phenomenal job at that. Alright. That does it for not the take, but for the Pro Wrestling Show review of WWE Survivor Series. We hope we're going to do another review show for the final one for 2018 for TLC. We hope to see you there. See you later.